Quick question. Why does the United States still measure things in feet, pounds, and Fahrenheit when almost the entire rest of the planet uses the metric system? Here's the part that most people don't know. America actually tried to switch. There was a law, there was a government agency, and it still failed for one very specific reason. The metric system was designed in France in the 1790s, the same revolutionary decade that gave us the failed decimal time experiment. Unlike decimal time, though, metric measurements were logical, simple, and actually caught on. Country after country adopted it over the next 2 centuries because trading internationally in the same units made commerce dramatically easier. The United States noticed this problem early. As far back as 1866, Congress made metric units legal to use. By the early 1900s, American scientists and engineers were already using metric internally, even while the public kept using feet and pounds. Then, in 1975, Congress passed the Metric Conversion Act. The goal was to shift the entire country to metric voluntarily over time. A new federal agency, the U.S. Metric Board, was created specifically to coordinate the transition, helping industries plan the switch, educating the public, updating road signs, and packaging. For a few years, it actually looked like it might work. Some road signs briefly displayed kilometers. Some products started listing metric measurements alongside imperial ones. Schools began teaching metric units more seriously. But there was one massive flaw in the plan. The entire program was voluntary. No business was required to switch, no consumer was required to learn the new units, and switching voluntarily meant absorbing real costs, relabeling products, retooling factories, retraining employees, for a benefit that wouldn't show up until everyone else switched too. So most companies simply waited to see if anyone else would go first. Almost nobody did. By 1982, the U.S. Metric Board had accomplished so little and cost so much that the government quietly dissolved it. The voluntary approach had produced almost no actual conversion. Compare this to Sweden's traffic switch, where the government picked a single date and made the change mandatory for everyone all at once. The U.S. metric attempt tried the opposite: ask nicely and let each business decide for itself, and a coordination problem, left voluntary, almost never resolves on its own. Today, metric survives underneath the surface. Doctors prescribe medication in milligrams. Scientists measure everything in metric units. The military uses metric internationally. Even soda bottles are sold in liters. But everyday American life, road signs, weather reports, grocery scales, never made the jump because nobody with enough authority ever forced a single moment of change. So next time you check the weather in Fahrenheit, remember, the switch to something more logical almost happened. It just needed one thing the plan never had: someone willing to make the change mandatory, not optional. If you like this, subscribe. I post one story like this every week.